Happy Canada Day, everybody, and welcome to New Mosaic Stadium, the new home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They play their first ever game here tonight against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and I just wonder what the emotions will be like for both of those teams really coming into this game.
Rod, we saw the Saskatchewan Roughriders take the field, and the energy that was transferred from the fans to the players, trust me, they feel it. On the exact opposite, the Bombers feel the negative, but the negative is a powerful feeling too. I love the atmosphere here. It is very unique, and it is great to be a part of.
The Bombers can't allow these fans to get in this game. Believe me, I know firsthand. If these Saskatchewan Roughrider players can feed off these fans early, these Bombers do not have a chance. They have to find a way to get some points early in this game if they want to have a chance to win it.
Yeah, they got to take the crowd out because this place is electric. Guys, I think we may be watching this game standing up because we are right here behind the crowd.
Yes.
And I don't think many of these folks are going to be sitting down. This place has got an energy to it like I've never felt in any facility across the country.
Well, we have good reason to stand right now because it is time for our national anthem. Enjoy the game, everyone.
Notre hymne national.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your headwear as 620 CKRM presents today's anthem singer, who became a Canadian citizen back in 2013, Nino Hernandez from Porcupine Plain. Standing are our 13 newest Canadians who took their oath of citizenship just a few hours ago. So on this Canada Day, please join Nino and our fellow Canadians in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, heed not thy son's command. With glowing hearts we see the rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
And now, everyone, please remain standing and join Nino as we wish Canada a happy 150th by singing Happy Birthday. The headlinesman Ron Bars, umpire Adam Paradowski, and the referee for today's game is Tom Valesi. Joining the team captains at center field for the coin toss are Her Honor, the Honorable Vaughn Solomon Schofield, Lieutenant Governor of Saskatchewan. Representing the Government of Canada on this Canada Day, the MP for Regina Wascana, the Honorable Ralph Goodale. Representing the Government of Saskatchewan, the MLA for Regina Dudney, Gene Mikowski. The Mayor of Regina, Michael Fougere. and the chairman of the Roughriders Board of Directors, Wayne Morski. Making the coin toss will be Her Honor, the Honorable Vaughn Solomon Schofield, Lieutenant Governor of Saskatchewan.
right, gentlemen. Saskatchewan logo is tails. The inaugural season is heads. Winnipeg, what'll be your call? Take heads. Heads is the call. Lieutenant Governor. It is a tail. Saskatchewan, you've won the toss. You'll defer to the second half. You want the ball? Winnipeg receiving. Have a great game, gentlemen.
Might be a pick for a touchdown to start.
Forces flying school from 15-wing Moose Jaw for their fly pass today. And from high above Mosaic Stadium, lead pilot Major Andrew Faith has a special message for Rider fans.
Good evening, Rider Nation. This is Major Andrew Faith on board one of our Canadian Forces CT-155 Hawk aircraft. On behalf of your friends at 15-wing Moose Jaw, we welcome you to the Riders versus the Blue Bombers and the inaugural season at Mosaic Stadium. Have a great night and go Riders!
Fans, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are supposed to introduce a special guest.
Here we go. To the house on 3. 1, 2, 3. To the house. Hey.
Please welcome player representatives from Mighty Might, Adam, Pee-wee, high school football programs in Regina and Saskatoon, as well as players representing the Saskatoon Valkyries, Regina Riot, Regina Thunder, U of S Huskies, and U of R Rams. And to officially open Mosaic Stadium with a ceremonial kickoff, our very special guest, the Riders' all-time leader in total points scored, a 6-time CFL All-Star, a 1989 Grey Cup champion, and the last man to ever wear number 36 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Ridgway. All right, Dave, the field is yours. Kick us off. And with that, Dave Ridgway kick off the Saskatchewan Roughriders now declare Mosaic Stadium officially open.
It's time for you, the 13th man, to make some noise.
Let's show them watching on TSN how loud and proud Rider Nation can be as we unveil your banner in our home.
To officially unveil the official flag of Rider Nation, we have someone who was the in-game stadium announcer for 13 years and is now the Chief of Police Services for the City Police of Regina, Mr. Evan Bray.
Moist.
Happy Canada Day, Rider Nation. Super excited to be here. As we know, you, the 13th man, make all the difference. And as we get set to show the rest of Canada how important the 13th man is, let's do something that we'll never forget. Drop that banner!
National celebration, a housewarming party, season opener for the Bombers, home opener for the Roughriders, and a new era of Saskatchewan football underway. A return by a former Rider, Ryan Langford, out beyond the 35. 24-yard return, Matt Nichols who was 10-3 a year ago, leads the Bombers out first on offense.
State-of-the-art facility. You know the Riders are feeling a little bit of pressure, but what happens inside the stripes doesn't change. It's the team that blocks best, tackles best, throws and catches the football best that wins tonight.
Riders opened the season 9 days ago. This the season opener for Winnipeg, and they go to work with Canadian Andrew Harris straight ahead. Not much there off the left side. A 3-yard pickup for the number 3 rusher in the league last year, Zach Minter, the tackle.
I know a lot of people aren't talking about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the preseason polls, but I like their lineup. Look at their receiving corps. Darvin Adams, former Rider Weston Dressler, and Clarence Denmark. Big play guys. An offensive line they've rebuilt. Travis Bond, all CFL last year at left guard. They've got a nice lineup.
10 of 12 returning starters on offense. Second down, and the pass is caught. Darvin Adams to grab, but Chris Lyle's on the scene, and it's a 2-and-out to start for a fired-up Saskatchewan defense.
Yeah, you know the atmosphere in this building, absolutely electric, and that is what the Saskatchewan Roughrider players are feeling right now. They get an early 2-and-out on defense.
They won the toss. Is that why they elected to kick off instead of receive?
Put their defense on there. That's just getting to the ball.
Justin Medlock the kick. Nick Dembski, who was terrific last week, handling returns in the absence of Ricky Collins. That's a 49-yard punt by Medlock, and here comes Kevin Glenn, who made a dramatic comeback last week in Montreal, only to have the missed field goal at the end to
Saskatchewan number 33, 10-yard penalty, first down.
See the Riders fall short in that comeback bid in Montreal.
Yeah, 1-point loss. Kevin Glenn got the Riders in field goal position, but that field goal missed. Need a bounce back game, and you know there's pressure on them, but as I mentioned, all of the players on the field today have been playing on a big stage, college football. They understand this atmosphere, just want to go and produce a win.
After the penalty, ball back on the 20. And a quick hitter to Neiman Roosevelt. He gets stopped up at the 25. Forward progress to the 26-yard line. A tackle by Ian Wild with support from Brock Carmichael.
Take a look at the receivers for Kevin Glenn. Nick Dembski, big game in game 1. Targeted 7 times, made 7 catches. They've got Deron Carter, who didn't have a big debut for Saskatchewan last week with just 2 catches, and Neiman Roosevelt. There's the offensive line. Derek Dennis at left tackle.
Carter did score the first touchdown in this building in the preseason for the Roughriders. Here's Dembski, and Dembski pushed out at the 34-yard line. That's a first down. He had a career high last week. 7 catches, 87 yards in Montreal.
Yeah, long at 33, and played so well that even though Rob Bagg is ready and in the lineup dressed tonight, he doesn't get the start. Nick Dembski does at that wide side, wide out position.
Brendan Alexander on the corner, newcomer for the Blue Bombers. So gain of 8 and a first down for Saskatchewan. And his former Bomber Cameron Marshall met by the middle linebacker Sam Hurl.
Boy, this Winnipeg Blue Bomber defense led the league in takeaways by a long shot, and I think they may have improved in the offseason with the addition of Tristan Opalaugo at the opposite defensive end as Jamal Westerman. Remember Maurice Leggett's season last year, 7 interceptions and 3 touchdowns, and a real nice secondary with the all-Canadian safety in Taylor Laughlin.
Team that led the league in interceptions and takeaways. 2nd and 8. Glenn to the air, underneath. Pass is caught, but a quick stop from Chris Randall on Bakari Grant. There is a flag downfield.
The area of the defensive secondary, Sam Hurl over there talking to the officials.
Blocking downfield before the pass was caught. Saskatchewan number 9. That penalty be declined. 3rd down.
Penalty against Dembski and the Roughriders, and the punt team comes on.
It'll be about one more series where the all these players here in this game will just settle back in and we'll be playing a football game again with all the hype behind them. It usually takes a series or two and to pop the pads a few times before you settle in.
You do feel a sense of occasion here, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
So Josh Bartel to punt. Kevin Fogg back, who led the Canadian Football League in punt return average last year and had 4 touchdown returns called back. 50-yard punt. Fogg dances and gets across the 30 up to the 33, a 13-yard return. Matt Nichols 10-3 last year, leading the Bombers into the postseason, looking for even more in 2017. Football League. Well, from Tofino to Topsail, happy birthday, Canada. We welcome you to the new Crown Jewel in the Queen City grand opening of new Mosaic Stadium. Bombers go to work just beyond their 33-yard line. Throw to the wide side, intended for an old Rider hero, Weston Dressler, incomplete.
Take a look at the Saskatchewan Roughriders on defense. One change, and it's in the middle. Enoch Mwamba injured. They tried to give it a chance this week. Didn't work. He's on the 6-game injured list. Samuel Guavin will start at middle linebacker, but we may see Cameron Judge in there, the top pick for the Riders in the draft this year. And then in the secondary, Javon Johnson, a big pickup.
Javon Johnson doesn't like the way they've lined up defensively. A handoff inside. And Andrew Harris bulldozes to the 40, but he's going to be short of the first down.
Javon Johnson picked up just before the start of the regular season at that corner spot and led the team in tackles in week 1 against Montreal.
A couple of 2-and-outs to start for Winnipeg. They had to wait the extra week. Disadvantage, do you think?
Maybe physically, but I think an advantage when it comes to mental preparation.
High boot by Bartel. Dembski again from his 23, kicks it outside and forced out around the 30 after the 48-yard punt. Kyle Knox will get credit for the special team tackle. So the second series for Kevin Glenn, 56 and 38 as a starter on home turf with a new home. Calling it the house that Rider Pride built. A little time lapse of it filling up to capacity. I'm not sure they're going to have an empty seat all season long.
Capacity 33,000, 38 corporate suites. Construction started back in June of 2014.
Play action fake. Dembski another catch. And he'll get brought down around the 37-yard line.
And Rod, or Chris,
throwing a flag
worked with Rod 2 nights ago. Every seat comfortable, wider in this stadium, and every seat a beer holder for the Pilsner.
Even a special
beer Pilsner
section. Just to remind us of where we are.
Yeah, exactly.
6 for Dembski, 2nd and 4. And the handoff inside. And the former Bombers got a first down. Ian Wild and Chris Randall on the tackle. But a 7-yard run and a first down. Bombers won both meetings last year, and the win on Labor Day ended an 11-game losing streak for Winnipeg in Saskatchewan. First down, 39. Glenn, second read. Pass caught by Grant, and he'll get wrestled down by the newcomer on the corner, Brandon Alexander.
Kevin Glenn closing in on 50,000 yards passing career, 38-year-old. Got off to a real good start in Montreal. Didn't get the win. And hasn't been able to get Deron Carter involved in the offense just yet. He'll play at that short side, wide out position.
Second down from the 50. Here comes pressure. Gets it away in a hurry. And the pass is caught. Caleb Hawley stretching out. Rock Carmichael wrestles him down, but the Roughriders are in Bomber territory at the Winnipeg 47. It's a pickup of 13.
Caleb Hawley on the out route, working on the newcomer, Rock Carmichael. New wide side defensive backfield for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Rock Carmichael at halfback, Brandon Alexander at the corner. Don't be surprised at all to see Kevin Glenn test that wide side for Winnipeg. See how the young players to the CFL play.
Kevin Glenn in an early groove, 6 for 6, and now the fly sweep run. Carter struck out and taken down by Alexander on the corner. Can't turn the corner and loses 3.
University of Central Florida, and he just runs that down. This is a way to get Deron Carter the football and try and get him involved in this offense as early as they can, but that play snuffed out by that wide side corner.
Alexander, an algebra teacher, so you're not going to fool him with the X's and O's.
Michael Shea said he was a rep stealer. Anytime someone didn't want a rep, he took it, he jumped in, stole a bunch of them.
It's the way to make the team,
yeah.
Huh? 2nd and 13. Glenn over the middle. Pass is caught. And Dembski with the catch. Looked like it was tipped into his hands. Got 10, but will be short.
Yeah, not sure if Sam Hurl here got a hand on it. He's coming on this stunt right here. And Nick Dembski will be from left to right coming over the middle on your screen. And this is, oh, it is a tip. Not by Hurl, but it was tipped. Nice concentration by Dembski.
Looked like Tristan Ugo got a paw on it. Well, here's Tyler Krapina. Much talked about after the last second miss in Montreal from 45. This from 48 yards out to put the first points on the board for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in their new home. Krapina fired up, and the Roughriders strike first. 3-0 Saskatchewan. Welcome back, a 48-yard field goal, 3-0 Saskatchewan to the sidelines. Here's Lee Jones.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. This facility, there were rumors about it in 2011, but it wasn't until July 2012, halftime of a Riders home game, when Saskatchewan Premier Brad Wall announced they were building a new stadium using a P3 model. $278 million, $100 million as a facility fee, basically stadium users paying for it, $80 million from the province, $73 from the city, and another $25 from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and that doesn't include another $20 they put into their football operations and offices. Now, construction began in June of 2014, and 1.95 million workman hours later, we have this facility. And by the way, speaking of money, guys, it started $100,000, the 50-50. It's already up past $370,000. Happy Canada Day to somebody.
Absolutely.
And it's loud down there.
Long and Langford back in. This will be the former Rider. Ryan Langford trying to kick it outside. Gets the edge. And Langford with a good return before he is belted just beyond the 40-yard line. Hit on the play by Glenn Love, who had 3 special team tackles in the season opener.
This is the crown jewel of Regina now, and when you take a look at the league as a whole and some of the new facilities, renovations in Vancouver, TD Place Stadium in Ottawa, that atmosphere outstanding. Tim Hortons Field, relocation to BMO for the Argos. League's in a good place.
Bombers have to handle this noise. Nichols tried to thread it through a tight window intended for Clarence Denmark. Incomplete.
Nice play by Javon Johnson, who, by the way, when we looked at all those new stadiums built, talked to Javon Johnson yesterday, and he said, you know, I've been on the home team for every one of the debuts. When you go back to Ottawa, first game there, he was playing for the Red Blacks. Same in Winnipeg, and now in Saskatchewan.
Maybe Calgary can acquire him. 2nd and 10. 6 receivers out. Nichols underneath it goes, and Harris is going to get tripped up short of the first down. Just 4. And again, the punt team has to come on for Winnipeg.
when there's a lot of hype, not a surprise that both defenses playing well early. That hype really helps, I believe, helps the defense, and because offense is all about timing.
3rd 2 and out. The left footer Medlock to Dembski at the 15. That's a 49-yard boot. And Dembski weaves his way back across the 30. Light wind here, and they tell us it swirls, but not a factor so far in the stadium opener. Great day to reflect on the wonderful country that we live in, and from what we hear, a guy who liked a good party, one of the key figures responsible for the Canada 150 celebrations, the first Prime Minister, who helped form the Union of Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia on this day in 1867 with the signing of the British North America Act. A Kingston native. Like
6 years later, 6 years later, the Argos were founded.
Oldest professional team in North America. Pass for Bakari Grant off his hands, and that's the first incompletion. Rock Carmichael there defensively for the Bombers.
2nd and 10.
Kevin Glenn took a hit there from Jamal Westerman. Mentioned off the top. Defensive line looks pretty good for Winnipeg when you take a look at them on paper with Opaluga off one edge and Jamal Westerman off the other. Westerman has led the team in sacks back-to-back years. He's now got a book in.
Here comes the blitz. Picked up. Clinton going to take a shot downfield and overthrows. Duron Carter by a couple of strides. Step for step was Chris Randall.
Well, first of all, read correct for Kevin Glenn. He read the blitz and it was picked up and blocked up. Now Duron Carter goes on a bit of a post route here. As you see, he goes to the middle, and Kevin Glenn threw the seam route more straight down that seam, straight down the numbers. Just a little bit off in their communication down the field, and Chris Randall in pretty good position.
10th time this season Carter's been targeted. Just 2 catches so far. Kevin Fogg trying to get outside. And up to the 44-yard line, a 43-yard punt for Josh Bartell. Spencer Moore in on the special team tackle.
You mentioned Matt Nichols at 10-3. His first 7 starts last year, 7-0. Really had that Winnipeg Blue Bomber offense clicking. Offensive coordinator Paul LaPolice has had another year, and I talked to Matt Nichols yesterday about that offseason and what he did differently. He said, first of all, I got rid of some bad weight, put on some good weight. That means he's in the weight room a little bit more, wants to run a little bit more if he can and sees the opportunity. But saying working with Paul LaPolice for the entire offseason really should help.
Remember, the Bombers started 1-4 last year before the 7-game win streak. Handoff here that's not going anywhere. And there's a newcomer, Cameron Judge, the number 2 pick in the CFL draft.
What Matt Nichols may have to do here, because the Rider defense is playing with such great intensity, feeding off this crowd, is maybe take a shot deep. Whether they complete it or not, it can stretch them out and loosen up the secondary just a little bit.
7 straight wins last year, included back-to-back against the Roughriders, 28-25. At Old Mosaic on Labor Day, 17-10 the next week in the rematch. Gonna throw it over the middle, broken up and picked off. It's an interception for defensive end Jonathan Newsom. On the tip. First off the hands of the safety, Jeff Hecht.
Jeff Hecht plays this real nice. He's gonna look like he's dropping back into the middle and playing real high, but on this dig route from Julian Fiolo-Guidino coming across the middle, he jumps it quickly, gets his hand on the football, and bounces right into the hands of Jonathan Newsom.
Mike O'Shea considering a challenge. He has not thrown it yet. Waiting for a little more feedback from upstairs. And only has 30 seconds to make this call. Is he out of time?
He
Looks
might
like
be.
he is.
I think the official just told him that. You had to make the call in 30 seconds. If you haven't, it's too late. He wanted to see if there was early contact on that knockdown. Or knock up, I should say. And Newsom, Jonathan Newsom coming up, and a late add to the roster today.
So at the Bomber 54, a deep throw, jump ball, and Carter brings it down. There's his first big catch of 2017, and he caught it in double coverage.
And into the short side where they've got the two veterans in Chris Randall and TJ Heath. But Duron Carter up on the top of your screen. Straight go route, and he splits that double team. 36-yard gain.
So the Riders into the red zone. Short drop, Glenn taking a shot in the end zone, and touchdown. Caleb Hawley has the first. Rider touchdown at New Mosaic.
It's the answer to the trivia question. What Saskatchewan Roughriders scored the first touchdown in the regular season in the new stadium? Number 88, Caleb Hawley on the corner route.
Star receiver for the Riders last year on Labor Day with 10 catches, 121 and a touchdown against the Bombers. Now Krapinja with the extra point right down the middle. And that ball being taken to the dressing room. Not sure if that's a souvenir for Hawley or a souvenir for the franchise.
Well, he gets a good run. Three-step motion. Canadian Football League, he could be going towards the line of scrimmage. He gets a good run here to get this corner route set up. TJ Heath, the halfback. Caleb Hawley, number 88, little inside release, goes to the corner. He's got TJ Heath in the chase position. That ball put out over the top as Kevin Glenn lifts it up over coverage and drops it right into the hands of Caleb Hawley.
270th career touchdown pass for Kevin Glenn, who's looked very sharp so far here today. Well, some early Canada Day fireworks for the home side. Langford from the 11. Follows the blocking up around the 35-yard line before he runs out of bounds.
Well, Matt Nichols understands how the urgency of the next drive. I mean, this is important to try and slow this momentum with this atmosphere, the new stadium, the first regular season game. Riders have all the momentum and the 10-point lead.
And the Bombers looking for their initial first down of the game. Nichols 2 for 5 and an interception on the last throw. They empty it out. And here's Dressler with a catch. Weston Dressler up to the 40-yard line. Dressler with 14 catches, 212 yards in 2 meetings against his former team a year ago. Has 6 on that completion.
Yeah, another 1,000-yard season for Weston Dressler. 5 out of the 8 years he was a Saskatchewan Roughrider, over 1,000. And was last year in Winnipeg, despite only playing 14 games because of injury.
2nd and 4 for the Bombers to get their initial first down. Nichols in trouble, and he'll get dropped. There's Eddie Steele getting home with the first sack of the game. Let's wait for the Riders. Eddie Steele has one on the final play of an opening quarter, but sees the home side looking fired up in their new digs. 10-0 Saskatchewan after 15 minutes. Take a look at the numbers through the first 15 minutes here at New Mosaic. We know the home side's fired up. How much of a factor is that the other team's been sitting around waiting for over a week?
Well, yeah, they're going to have the physical edge, the Riders, plus the intensity in this building, the first game here at the New Mosaic Stadium. But there's no question when you look at the left column there and the stats that this was the best quarter defensively since Chris Jones has been the head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders for that Rider defense.
And a team that scored 16 in their opener puts 10 on the board early, and Kevin Glenn looked sharp.
Yeah, I did. Nice throw on that corner route and got Deron Carter involved in the offense with that deep throw where he split double coverage, and that should open things up underneath for Kevin Glenn.
Almost blocked. Medlock gets it away. Pressure from Newsom. And the return by Dembski up around the 37, a 48-yard punt by Medlock. Well, we understand he's been under the weather for quite some time in the offseason, but terrific to see George Reed here, the legend, in the warm-up. All the players wearing number 34 on their T-shirts for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. This the Palace and George the King.
And when he was put on the big Jumbotron here, 33,000 people got up out of their seat.
Interesting to hear Kevin Glenn mention yesterday that 34 doesn't look right on anybody except George Reed.
Yeah, he said in the NFL it's Walter Payton, and in the CFL 34 belongs to George Reed.
By the way, the Bombers T-shirts are for Chris Walby and Doug Brown, so they're larger than George Reed's T-shirts. Those are the triple extra large. But a nice gesture to great Canadians, Brown and Walby, and George, a great adopted Canadian. 2nd and 9. Glenn going to take another shot, and this one is intercepted. TJ Heath, a co-leader in picks last year, has a return. And finally tripped up at the Saskatchewan 47. That's what the Bombers needed. Caleb Hawley, the intended target, but TJ Heath, who had 7 last year, 2 for Winnipeg, comes up with 1 here to maybe kickstart the Blue Bombers. Join us at the half of the GMC Professional Grade Playbook tonight. Dwayne Ford on understanding the linebacker positions.
Coming up pretty soon, Henry Burns will be helping us out with the playbook. Take a look here. Here's Deron Carter. Now this time, Kevin Glenn goes to the well one too many times. I mean, Carter makes a big catch in double coverage in the first quarter, but you go back to it, be careful.
Best field position start for the Bombers, still in search for their first down of the game, and Andrew Harris was 6. 3rd in yards from scrimmage last year, 3rd in rushing, just under 1,000. And number 12 on our TSN CFL Top 50. Matt Nichols was number 28. 2nd and 4. We'll reverse here and we'll flip inside the Dressler. Will get the first down.
Great decision after he broke the line of scrimmage for Weston Dressler to turn it up rather than bounce it wide. There was a lot of pursuit coming from inside out on Dressler, but he made the right call. They're going tempo now to try and build off that first down.
In the Medlock range, but thinking about more. Wide side, brought down by Fioli Godino, and he can't get away from the clutches of rookie Chris Lyles and defensive halfback.
Got to be good sound tacklers if you're on the wide field defensively. Chris Lyles makes a good open field tackle, put Matt Nichols back in second and long situation. All out police looking to his second and long playlist.
Like Dubuisson, now the middle linebacker, as they shuttle that position through for the Roughriders. 2nd and 9. Pressure underneath, pass caught. But there is Newsom immediately closing on Harris. And the field goal unit will have to come on for the Bombers.
Looks like Matt Nichols wants Michael O'Shea to possibly challenge. He felt one of his receivers may have been contacted illegally.
And the challenge flag has been tossed.
And it looks, by the looks of it, for Michael O'Shea, he is just trusting his quarterback's opinion right now, which happens. Let's take a look at some of the receivers down the field. Here's Weston Dressler, and it looked like Matt Nichols looked at him first, maybe the first target there. Pulled down by Eric Dargan.
New weak side linebacker.
Winnipeg is challenging that there was illegal contact on their receiver, number 7. We'll review the play.
Is that beyond 5 yards? So the command center will review that, and we'll have a verdict when we come back. Closed captioning is brought to you by PizzaHotline.ca. Try our Blue Bomber touchdown deal and get 3 medium pizzas with any 2 toppings of your choice and 6 cans of any Pepsi product. Tom Valesi with the verdict.
Review, we have illegal contact. Saskatchewan number 43. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It was the first read for Matt Nichols. It was illegal contact. I think he was inside of 5 yards when Dargan makes contact here, but you still can't tackle the receiver, and he grabs the shoulder pad of Dressler, pulls him to the ground. You could see Matt Nichols looking right at him.
Takes the ball to the Saskatchewan 22. Harris back in the backfield. Now releasing. Nichols time. Dressler open and overthrows a wide open Weston Dressler. A missed opportunity for Winnipeg.
Yeah, threw it to the outside shoulder instead of down the middle more and letting Dressler run to it. Forced him to widen, but you're right, Chris. He had him. He had him in behind coverage. Stretching things out now. And just out the fingertips.
So 2nd and 10. Wide side of the field. And Pioli Godino can't make the catch. Would have been short of the first down anyway. And now the field goal unit does come on.
Who's covered by 35, Chris Lyles.
CFL All-Star kicker Justin Medlock.
Special team player of the year, 227 points last season. 39 of 39 from inside the 40. This will come from the 30. 60 field goals on the year, which was impressive for Medlock, but an issue for the Bombers offense, and Medlock puts it through. So Mike O'Shea's team on the board here, shy of 5 minutes into the second quarter. Well, it's a day to remember the men and women who sacrificed their lives for our freedom. The Battle of Vimy Ridge, 100 years ago. A remarkable victory when Canada came of age as a country. And in World War II, Canadians took Juno Beach on D-Day, June 6, 1944. A turning point in the Allied victory. To those people, we owe the freedom we take for granted. We salute them and the men and women who serve and defend us today.
3rd Canadian Infantry Division has succeeded in pushing farther inland on D-Day than any other unit.
Kevin Glenn hit as he got the football away to Cameron Marshall. The former Bomber has to be gang tackled after breaking a pair of tackles and gaining 12.
Good second effort there, and a quick shout out to all our men and women in the military. Currently, my teammates in the 417 Squadron in Cold Lake, they are our true Team Canada.
Pressure from Corey Johnson, but Glenn hung in to get it to Marshall. And a good hard run after the catch. First down. Screen Marshall. Got a block from Dan Clark. And at midfield, he's got 8. Taylor Loeffler, the all CFL safety in his rookie year, makes the tackle.
11 carries for Cameron Marshall in week 1, so Kevin Glenn wants to settle things down after the interception in the last series. Come back with a run play on first down, go to that little swing screen to Cameron Marshall on second, slow things down, move the chains, get some momentum. Back.
Rob Bagg has checked into the offense, missed last week. Big edge and passing yards for Glenn and the Bombers. Second and short, they're not going to get there. Back to the line of scrimmage. Wow. Jake Thomas out of Acadia in his 6th year slammed the door.
He'll rotate the interior of that defensive line with Corey Johnson and Drake Neves.
That's Corey Poop Johnson, by the way.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I wasn't going to go there, but that's okay.
If Jimmy Kimmel can talk about him, then we can.
Yeah, you're right about that.
But an area that the Bombers think they've really strengthened, that defensive line.
Well, you got to like their entire defense. Hawken last year have an interception already in this game.
Josh Bartell was terrific last year, 18 times hitting it inside the 10. This one not quite there, but effective nonetheless. An angled punt of 41 yards into the corner, and the Bombers backed up at their 13. We close out week 2 and get set for week 3 that begins on Thursday. BC off a win in Toronto against the Alouettes. Stampeders will be in Winnipeg for Friday night football. Argos and Red Black Saturday. Part of a doubleheader as the Ticats come to New Mosaic. Midway into the second quarter, deepest start in their own zone for the Bombers. Swung out to Harris up to the 16-yard line. Andrew Harris was 67 catches last year, just a pair on that pickup.
Yeah, was the leader in that category for all running backs. More receiving yards and catches than any other running back in the league, and that's why Matt Nichols will use him out of that backfield often in first down, catching the football, does it so well.
Jonathan Newsom checks back in on the Rider defense, a 3-man front, 2nd and 8. Nichols running out of time, running out of the pocket, breaks one tackle, and up to the 23 where he'll be about a yard short.
A little bit of a push down the middle from the Saskatchewan defense. Got Matt Nichols hopping a little bit right in the middle of that defense. Take a look at Nichols here at quarterback. Watch him he gets a push in that middle. He feels it and he starts to hop in there. Now, he told me yesterday he wants to take off and run more. That's why he worked on getting that weight down a little bit. He said he's actually about the same, but it's better weight now. More core strength, wants to run a little more.
Had a couple of touchdown runs against Saskatchewan last year. Dembski near midfield where he is brought down. Mike Miller led the surge along with Derek Jones. Mike Miller, who led the CFL in special teams tackles a year ago.
Take a look at Miller on that tackle. Gets outside in his lane. Maintain your lane. Break down. Get there. Cut the legs out of Nick Dembski. Derek Jones gets the assist.
27 special team tackles last year in Edmonton. Great field position for the Riders. Marshall, though, dropped behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of 1 as we check back in with Lee Jones.
Guys, this is Kevin Glenn's 271st game in the CFL. That puts him 18th on the all-time list, tying, in fact, Mike O'Shea, the current head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now, talking to Kevin Glenn about that amount of time to be playing a physical game as he does, he mentioned that he was shocked. In fact, in his first year as a rookie, he played 10 games and was so sore he couldn't believe he still had 8 more games to go, used to the college game. Speaking to Mike O'Shea yesterday, he said it's not luck. It's a lot of hard work knowing that you have to grind, that it could end anytime soon if you don't. Wise words from the former linebacker.
And Glenn's been grinding for 17 years. An incomplete pass there, intended for Bakari Grant. Well, his personal best year was as a Winnipeg Blue Bomber. Over 5,000 yards, 5,129 yards that year. Twice a 5,000-yard passer in a season. And as you mentioned earlier, now under 800 yards away from 50,000 on the odometer. So Bartel will look for another pin. This is a line drive. Seemed to handcuff Kevin Fogg in trouble. And by misplaying it, Bombers are back around their 6th. Glenn Love, first man downfield, but looked like Fogg had a chance to return more of a line drive punt. Yeah, it was a knuckleball, and he couldn't track it. Now I'm wondering if he touched it there. Yeah, because he touched it there. Now he's got to go and play it. Because if he had let that hit, might have gone through the end zone and he saved some field position. But he touched it. He's got to go recover it, pick it up, and go. 6 to an out, says the special team guru and head coach has a word with Fogg, who missed a great deal of training camp with an injury. And inside for Harris, and he's wrapped up, brought down. Another short gain, and Javon Johnson's from the corner, sticking his helmet in there. Well, they get 4 out of it. 2-time All-CFLer. What a first game he had for the Roughriders last week in Montreal. New stadium, same old noise. Time for Nichols, throws incomplete. Looking over the middle to the newcomer, LaDamian Washington, who has quite a story. Casey Rogers in coverage, but a lot of people excited about LaDamian Washington, an inspirational story. And sad. Lost both parents at a young age. He and his 3 brothers. A chance to play in the NFL. Major injury there. Headlock punting it out of the end zone, and Dembski fields it in Bomber territory. Gets dragged down at the 43, but Saskatchewan already in scoring position for Kevin Glenn. Say hi to the folks watching south of the border on ESPN News, including our old teammate David Archer, who let us know he's watching tonight. Ten-3 Roughriders, good-looking numbers in the first half for Kevin Glenn. Pumps once, goes wide side, and the catch is made. Dembski surrounded, Carmichael tying him up, but Dembski's got 4 more catches today and 11 early in the season. Just see the confidence grow in Nick Dembski.
Major foul.
Year to year.
Roughing the passer. Winnipeg
Earned
number
the trust
55.
of the coaching staff
15-yard
here.
penalty. Automatic.
Earns the trust of Kevin Glenn. Tristan Opolugo gets the roughing the passer penalty. There's Opolugo off the top of your screen. Excuse me, Westerman. Well, excuse me, that was Westerman. Jamal Westerman off the top. So first down, Glenn underneath Spencer Moore, the fullback with a catch.
And the McMaster product, only 3 catches last year in 10 games, has a big catch here and a Rough Rider first down.
Right side of the formation, he's on the crosser. With Enoch Mwamba out, Chris Jones had to juggle that Canadian roster a little bit. That's why Moore's playing a little bit more than he normally does.
Hit the 3-minute warning here. First half at New Mosaic.
Three minutes to halftime at the christening of New Mosaic Stadium. It's Riders so forth, and they're pressing for more. Coming up, the guys will have their thoughts on just the crowd, the energy. Saskatchewan has been feasting on that so far. Getting closer now to halftime. Let's go back to Chris and Glenn.
Riders defending new turf, and the Bombers intent on crashing the party. Here's Kevin Glenn, a pass complete to the end zone. Touchdown from Harry Grant. Kevin Glenn's second touchdown pass of the game. An 11-yard strike to veteran Bakari Grant.
Great timing on the out, great timing on the throw from Kevin Glenn. Coverage was there. The Bombers tried to show blitz and then drop out of it. Taylor Loeffler just a little bit behind. Bakari Grant catches that timing throw, turns the corner and scores.
Touchdowns in consecutive games for his new team.
B-Bridge! Shout out to roommate!
And Papinha the extra point.
Show blitz is great, Chris, when you're trying to disguise, but the 38-year-old Kevin Glenn has seen it all, and Taylor Loeffler comes up here off the edge as if he's going to come on the blitz. Right here, there's Loeffler. Now he's going to end up dropping underneath this. Caleb Hawley's going to go down the field, and Bakari Grant on that timing out right there. Timing out to Grant. Throw right on the money and on time, and Loeffler can't get there.
Oh, and Kevin Glenn gets in a rhythm. He can be dangerous and has been here in this first half.
Hey, ball security, baby.
Already a good receiving core strengthened by the veteran presence of Grant in his 7th year and a guy who had experience playing with Kevin Glenn in Hamilton. Langford from back at his 2. Got something. Nice return up across the 40-yard line. And ushered out by Cameron Judge, a 42-yard return. Quiet first half for Matt Nichols and a big series upcoming.
Been using Andrew Harris on first down a ton. We haven't mentioned Darvin Adams, who had a real good training camp in preseason at that wideout position. Got to get him involved.
Adams number 1. Nichols sidestep the rush, pass incomplete. And Adams the target there. Pressure from Willie Jefferson.
That's incomplete. He was pressured by 99 AC Leonard. It is 2nd and 10.
So 2nd and 10 for Winnipeg. Number 5 rushing, number 6 passing last year. 3-man rush, dumped off Harris. Andrew Harris puts his head down, and second effort for the first down after a big collision with the Sam linebacker, Sam Williams.
Boy, did he ever. He stepped into that hit. Andrew Harris took it on, spun out of it. Good contact there.
Just the third first down up near midfield. From the Bomber 54. Nichols to the sideline. Adams, good catch. With the snare in front of Williams and the spot close to the first down. Looks like he'll be about a foot or so short.
Darvin Adams got in the weight room in the offseason after missing 10 games, 10 weeks of the season with a broken collarbone, something that had been bothering him for quite some time going back to his college days. Got on the weights, got stronger in the upper body, wants to be able to win those 50-50 balls, and that was what he was talking about right there.
Only 8 games, but some nice numbers. Dan Lefebvre in the short yardage group, and that's a good plug behind Matthias Gosen, Travis Bond, and a first down.
And Michael O'Shea, I know, would have reminded Matt Nichols of the urgency of this drive. Come away with some points and don't let this momentum and this intensity and this new building and all the hype and everything else get this thing out of hand and out of reach.
Dan Lefebvre staying in on the roll to the wide side, and does Washington have the catch?
Lefebvre could have ran for the first down there. He got outside of containment and looked a little off balance trying to throw on the run after really not being warm from the sideline. Had he decided to just tuck it and take off, he probably gets another 10. Got the edge there with a nice chip block, and then see, he just wasn't quite right in his fundamentals getting that ball out on the run, and he one-hops it, gets it low.
Second and 7. Nichols back in, steps up in the pocket, got Darvin Adams, and that's a first down to the Roughrider 31 with just over a minute left in this first half. 11 for Adams.
That's an out by Adams. That's a dig by Darvin Adams. Both intermediate routes. The progression of that, now that Matt Nichols got Adams going, is a deep ball.
Now back in his hands and stretching out. Is it a touchdown? Yes. Darvin Adams into the end zone. Bombers back in it.
Set it up. You know, they talked about it on the sideline. Matt Nichols over with Darvin Adams saying, hey, let's get you on a couple intermediate routes. Do the out, run that dig, get a couple going, get that defensive secondary to move closer to the line of scrimmage, then let's get in behind them. And that's exactly what happens here. In behind it, gaining balance, stretch. I think you crossed the plane before any one of those body parts touched, including the knee. Let's take another look from the other angle.
All scoring plays under review. And
okay, there.
What a terrific play.
What an athletic play.
Anthony Coombs scored one at Old Mosaic a couple of years ago like that. 7 plays, 67 yards. And the Bombers have their first major of the year. And there's Medlock, who was 40 for 40 on those converts a season ago.
Monster drive for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
What up? Hey, Cruz Johnson, hold it down.
You start to feel with the field slanted, felt like the Riders were going downhill for most part of this first half. They had the field position advantage, and then Nichols needed a drive to stop the momentum. He gets it. 3 completions on the drive to number 1. Darvin Adams now involved in the offense.
51 catches, 690 yards, 6 touchdowns in less than half a year because of the collarbone injury. And a lot of people in Winnipeg think he is going to have a monster season.
What an athletic play to get to the end zone and cross that plane.
3 catches, 52 yards, and they all came on that last series. So that will be a huge confidence-boosting drive for the visitors. Marshall and Morris back for Saskatchewan. And it's Greg Morris. Up over the 30. Across the 45 before he's taken down. That was Kyle Knox flying in there to stop what was already a good return. 42-yard romp back for Greg Morris.
Well, if he's efficient, Kevin Glenn can work the clock here and maybe think major. Because of that return.
Way to go, Eddie!
Great special team tackle by Knox at the 48, but back further now. Jake Thomas with a sack.
Conference All-Star in college with the Axemen. Rotation player for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He's made a couple of plays. Made a couple of plays in this game already. Nice inside swim move. Working on Brendan Labatt.
Big loss, second down, and that's intercepted. Sam Hurl, the Canadian linebacker, with the pick. Second interception of this first half, and the ball hawks of the Bombers are back.
Kevin Glenn knows better here. He just stared down his receiver. He's okay now. There's Hurl there, who's going to drop into this area, but watch Glenn as he looks. Stop it here. He's looking down that aisle right there. Now watch Hurl. He just reads the eyes and says, if you're going to look that receiver down like that, I'm going to slide over and cut right underneath it.
University of Calgary product has the second interception of the game for Winnipeg. Team that led the league in picks with 30 last year. Got 3 off the first pick of the game. Now looking downfield, and the pass is caught. Clarence Denmark with a big catch down around the 10.
Wow, what a momentum swing. Darvin Adams with the great second effort to score the pick. Nichols now on the doorstep to tie this game. And it looked like Clarence Denmark really had to gather himself to make this 33-yard reception on the corner route.
20 seconds to go. They've got time for a couple of shots. A bad snap, ball away, and incomplete. Looking for Harris in the corner.
Yeah, I think because the low snap threw the timing off, Matt Nichols wanted to throw that out of bounds and save some time to maybe take one more shot at the major before he's got to bring out his field goal team. Watch the low snap here. This causes the problem just off. Now he's got to scoop it up, takes his eyes off the coverage, throws it away outside of Andrew Harris. That buys him some more time.
Second to go. Time, open man, Denmark can't make the one-handed stab, and they'll have to settle for 3.
Denmark slowed when he made that second move. Double move for Denmark, wanting to try and get down the sideline. There's the out, and you see him just flash, and then he kind of paused when he came out of that break. Matt Nichols wanted to throw it to the top. Look, watch Denmark right here. He's going to move the double move and then down. And watch on that second break. He's got the double move. Here comes out. Now he hesitates.
And Dressler earlier in the game open, and a missed opportunity there. Medlock will get 3, so 6 points off turnovers for a team that had 30% of its points off turnovers a year ago.
Let's go back and take one more look just to show you how he hesitates on this double move, because Matt Nichols wants to throw it up into that corner. There's a double move. Now he hesitates kind of right here, and he slows and gears down just a step and a half right there, and then he goes and tries to continue on the route to get up to that corner. Matt Nichols was throwing it to a spot. Points.
But that's quite a
inches.
change.
Yeah, just split second here, an inch there, and is the difference between tying it up or going in at halftime down by 4.
Ten consecutive points. Roughriders are going to run the clock out. Interesting first half. And the Bombers are certainly up to speed now. Chris Jones's team dominated for the first quarter, half the second quarter, but Darvin Adams and company got untracked, a little traction for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the late stages of that first half.
Good start. good first half of football, and the atmosphere outstanding here in the new Mosaic. 33,000 strong. Cheering on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I agree, Chris. I think for Chris Jones and his defense, best quarter I've seen. Jones as the Saskatchewan Roughriders head coach.
Let's head to the sidelines. Here's Lee Jones.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Here with Caleb Hawley, scored the first Saskatchewan Roughrider regular season touchdown at New Mosaic Stadium. And Caleb, just what worked on that play that allowed you to make the play?
I just got open, and he put the ball where it needs to be.
Simple as that, right?
As simple as that.
How do you turn things around in the second half? A couple turnovers costing you in there in the first half.
Just come back and stick to our game plan and just keep hitting the big plays, really. I mean, just got to make plays. That's what it comes down to, yeah.
Appreciate this. Thank you very much. Chris, back to you.
Caleb Hawley, an historic touchdown catch, the first at New Mosaic. Rough Riders came out of the gate flying, as you might have expected, but the Bombers got back in it late. 17-13, our halftime show coming up. Welcome back to New Mosaic. Happy Canada Day. 17-13, we get set for the second half, but first Lee Jones on the sidelines with Darvin Adams.
Darvin, tough start, but you guys got rolling in those final 3 minutes in the first half. Your touchdown along with a field goal. Other than good field position, what really changed for this offense to get rolling?
We just made the extra blocks. Matt stayed in the pocket, made plays like he always do. And just the guys on the perimeter, we made plays when the plays came to us.
You guys had a bye week in week one. You guys been itching to play even in halftime. How much have you guys been fired up to get things rolling here?
We're just eager to play. Like you said, we had a bye week. Gave us a little time to prepare for the game. And right now, we're just ready to play football.
Appreciate it. Good luck second half.
8 of the 11 wins for Mike O'Shea's Bombers last year. Comeback victories.
Well, you could tell that Saskatchewan had the physical edge in the first quarter. That defense was swarming, as Milt Stiegel mentioned. And Michael O'Shea's group hadn't played in week one, so they hadn't got used to game speed and regular season action. But they got there slowly into that second quarter, and those final 3 minutes were the Bombers, and we've got a football game.
Chris Jones' Riders won the toss, deferred, and so we'll get the football first here in the second half. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you're watching across the country. We even had a tweet from Auckland, New Zealand. So CFL fans everywhere enjoying this Canada Day feature. There's Morris again. Young Canadian kid with another good return. This one 32 yards. Setting up Kevin Glenn to start this second half.
Yeah, there was two sides to Kevin Glenn's game in the first half. There was the good where he was hitting receivers coming out of the break. Nick Dembski got involved early in that first quarter. And then there was the bad side in that second quarter, threw a couple of picks, as Matt Dunnigan mentioned at halftime. Good in the bat of Kevin Glenn.
Riders start from their 42. A swing pass to one of those touchdown receivers, Bakari Grant, who had the first touchdown at Tim Hortons in Hamilton. Second touchdown here and a first down catch on the opening offensive play of the second half. And now Grant to the sideline. Spencer Moore checks in. Receivers wide side. Glenn under pressure. The pass low and incomplete, intended for Marshall.
This time Kevin Glenn brought in Spencer Moore to try and help with protection up front, and felt like he could just go with 3 receivers. You see across the board here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up front trying to block. That's a 7th with your back in the backfield, and doesn't get the protection. Nice inside move by Corey Johnson.
Second and 10. Here comes the blitz. Ian Wild, and a low snap that Glenn had trouble with and has to eat back back at the Rough Rider 43.
Ian Wild hit it. I mean, it's one thing to blitz. It's another to time it up so well it can't be picked up. And Ian Wild did just that. He's right beside the goalpost here, and watch him time up his blitz. He's lined up about 7-8 yards off the line of scrimmage. Then he hits that A-gap. Causes problems, even though it was a low snap, and Kevin Glenn was just trying to recover it.
Just 12 games for Wild last year. One of the leaders on defense. Bartel kicks it away for Langford. 49-yard punt and great cover. And Geedy down there to make sure Langford's not going anywhere.
Matt Nichols did not have a first down in the first quarter and just 10 yards of net offense. But then in the second, as the Bombers started to catch up physically, get into that game intensity after an interception, that's when Matt Nichols settled down, ran a couple times, but then he got going. And a big play to Darvin Adams. Got right back in.
Nichols on a roll, throws back underneath to Harris, and Eddie Steele is there to take him down immediately. Winnipeg product, Steele.
It's another way for Saskatchewan to help out with that Canadian ratio with no Enoch Mwamba is to bring Eddie Steele in there, play with Marabere. And we got two Canadian interior defensive linemen.
Second and 8. Nichols going to air it. He's got Dressler wide open. Weston Dressler, the former Saskatchewan Roughrider. Touchdown.
And a flag on top of it.
87 yards for a guy they used to cheer for here in Saskatchewan.
And the Bomber fan can't get a high five from the Rider fans in the stands. They're trying to. They're walking around trying to get one, but he just took off. Talked to Weston Dressler yesterday about coming back here, playing in the new building. He was as excited as any Rough Rider.
Horse collar tackle. Saskatchewan number 45. That 15-yard penalty will be applied on the kickoff.
But he said, hey, it's about us trying to get a win, and felt great coming out of training camp. First training camp for Weston Dressler in his career that he practiced every single practice of camp. Did not have a nick.
Closing in on 9,000 career receiving yards. His 53rd receiving touchdown. Medlock the extra point. And the Bombers have their first lead of the game. An 87-yard strike from Nichols to a former Rough Rider hero. Closed captioning is brought to you by PizzaHotline.ca. Try our Blue Bomber touchdown deal and get 3 medium pizzas with any 2 toppings of your choice and 6 cans of any Pepsi product. And a Bomber touchdown there, 87 yards. That's the longest touchdown of Weston Dressler's career.
Busted the coverage from the Saskatchewan Roughriders on the play, and Dressler took advantage.
That ball dropped, booted around, up for grabs, and who's got it? I think the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have it.
I was going to mention that Casey Rogers pulled from behind, and getting the penalty as Dressler was already 5 yards in the end zone was a terrible decision, because now it was penalty yardage tacked onto this kickoff, which got that cover team down there quickly.
Mike Miller got down in a hurry, and Brandon Alexander was able to vacuum it up.
Yeah, and that just mishandled, and Morris has been playing great in this football game, but drops that one. Again, that penalty coming back to haunt him.
3rd turnover of the game by the Roughriders. Remember, this Bomber team feasted on turnovers last year. Nichols wide open. Guess who? Weston Dressler back-to-back.
Another bust. There's confusion in that back end with the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the secondary. That's back-to-back busted coverages. Weston Dressler taking advantage both occasions. Matt Nichols is a veteran, as is Dressler. If you bust the coverage, they're going to make you pay, and that ball thrown right to the spot, and you could see the frustration from Javon Johnson, the veteran in the secondary.
Well, Damian Washington was signaling touchdown before it got near Weston Dressler. That's how wide open he was. So it's now 13 points off turnovers, providing Medlock hits the extra point, and he always does. Well, as this game turned, and suddenly it's the Bombers in the driver's seat. Back-to-back touchdowns for Weston Dressler.
Couple busts. Let's take a look at the first. There's Weston Dressler here. By this action, there's got to be another safety deep, and he's got to be in this area, and it's either Kevin Francis or maybe the wide side corner. I'm not in the huddle for the call, but no way Weston Dressler should be that wide open in the deep third. He takes advantage of that bust and then comes right back after the turnover and takes advantage of another one.
2 touchdowns in 25 seconds. And the Bombers with 24 unanswered points. And Morris fighting the football. But now headed in the right direction. And across the 45 and dragged down at around the 45-yard line by Trent Corney. Flag comes down.
Make amends for the drop. Nice return. Now this is the second touchdown for Weston Dressler as they call this penalty.
Face mask. Winnipeg number 8.
That'll tack on yards, put it in plus territory for Kevin Glenn, who needs a bounce-back drive right now. Here's the second touchdown. Now look at the count. 3 receivers and just 2 defenders to that side of the field for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That's a bust before they lined up.
Chris Jones said we can't afford 2 or 3 busts a game, and there were 2 in less than a half minute. Glenn under pressure, throws to the sidelines. Bakari Grant there, and Chris Randall, who drew that face mask penalty with the tackle after a 6-yard gain.
He was tackled by Sam Hurl.
So 2 touchdowns in 25 seconds and 24 points in under 6 minutes.
It just got quiet in here.
It was going all so well. 2nd and 4, Glenn has an open man, and the catch made by Caleb Hawley, who gets tossed out by the newcomer Rock Carmichael.
Forward progress should get Caleb Hawley first down.
Chains are moving. But there are going to be momentum swings, and an answer here can get the Roughriders right back in it. Trying to cut into a 2-score Bomber lead. 4 receivers wide side. Glenn looking to the near side of the field. And Duron Carter a catch as he works against the veteran Chris Randall.
Nice comeback route here. Kevin Glenn doesn't have to get all these points back in one series. He just first down after first down, methodically working it back down to just try and slow this whole Winnipeg momentum. But that's a nice comeback route by Duron Carter.
Second catch of the game for Carter, a first down. At the Bomber 25. Running out of time. And doesn't get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Looked to me like Kevin Glenn was a little confused in what he saw in the coverage. And Taylor Loeffler, the center, or the safety, had moved to his left. You see him just to the left corner of your screen there. That confusion just forced Kevin Glenn to hold the ball for a second, and then he started looking at the rush. And when the quarterback looks at the defensive lineman, it's game over.
Second sack for the Bombers. Underneath, Bakari Grant broke a tackle and then gets swarmed at the 25-yard line, the original line of scrimmage. So the field goal unit will have to come on. Dan Clark locked up in a skirmish there. He was having words with Kevin Fogg. Nothing comes of that, and on comes Tyler Crapina.
Through that break, Chris, the Riders secondary have been sitting at the corner of the bench just going over what's going on in the back end for when Matt Nichols comes back on the field for Winnipeg.
So this to get the Roughriders back within 7 from 32 yards out. And Crapina bouncing back after that disappointment last week in Montreal. Flag we cherish today, the dream of Prime Minister Lester Pearson in the early 60s to replace the Canadian red ensign and give Canada its own unique symbol. You see a few of the proposed designs. 53 years later, Suits, I think we agreed they got it right.
Yeah, there's just a small version of it in the middle of the field. That flag borrowed from Hamilton 4 years before Lester Pearson formed that committee in a hotel in Winnipeg in '58. The CFL, as we know it today, was created.
Here's the fly sweep to Dressler, who's already done plenty of damage. It turns the corner up across midfield and into Saskatchewan territory at the 54.
Dressler's putting on a show. Still a fan favorite here, even though, according to Rider fans, he's now playing for the enemy. But second half has been all number 7.
22-yard run. Over 100 receiving. Now Andrew Harris off the right side. And he is dropped after a gain of 6. There is Eric Dargan, the rookie Will linebacker.
You know, Chris Jones likes to substitute. He'll like to throw in different linebackers. Kevin Francis will play for Dargan. He'll put in Cameron Judge a little bit. He has to balance his ratio. And I think what's happening now, or what did in the last couple of series, is with all those personnel changes, guys are starting to miss assignments. He looks like he's trying to settle it down now.
Yeah, Dargan hurt, and Kevin Francis will come in at that spot.
Kevin Francis was over there lined up in front of Dressler on the first bust, the first Dressler touchdown. Former safety from last year, started at safety for the first 7 games of the season.
Dargan on the limp out of Oregon. Once number 3 in NCAA football in interceptions with 7 in 2014.
All those personnel changes can confuse an offense because you're trying to get numbers sometimes in blocking assignments, and that can throw you off. It can also confuse your own team if they aren't getting their assignments straight. Mike Dubuisson has come in and played a little bit too, and again, that's a ratio issue for Saskatchewan.
We talked about it last week. All 3 starting linebackers from last year have left. Here's Clarence Denmark around the edge. So the receivers turn running back and starting to widen that field.
Well, they've stretched it in both directions. They've widened it with those fly sweeps, but they've also pushed it deep and stretched it that way with those deep balls. And now there should be more room for Matt Nichols underneath in that intermediate zone.
Just to finish the thought on the Rider linebackers, Greg Knox released, or Greg Jones released, Jeff Knox and Otha Foster went to the NFL. Christophe Normand in the backfield. Nichols didn't like what he saw, now passes underneath, and Normand, the Laval product in his 3rd year, makes the catch and has 5.
Since about midway through the second quarter, that offensive line that has all of a sudden come together nicely for Winnipeg is starting to settle in. You mentioned Travis Bond off the top, CFL All-Star from last year. Beside him and Stanley Bryant, you've got a two-time CFL All-Star.
For a lot of years, this was the issue in Winnipeg. Now it's one of their strengths. 2nd and 5. Nichols stands up, wide open. It's a catch for Ladinian Washington. Touchdown! There's the newcomer, and it's a 35 touchdown for Ladinian Washington.
Another one of those guys that is just a tremendous example of perseverance, his personal life, his attempts to make it in the National Football League. He tore his calf in a tryout with Pittsburgh, rehabbed that. He and his brothers grew up together without parents.
He has 3 brothers watching, I'm sure.
And got cut by Edmonton. Second chance in Winnipeg, made the team. First score in the Canadian Football League.
Cut by 8 different teams before finally nailing down a job with the Bombers. And a little backstroke into the end zone.
Just a top athlete, tremendous receiver, skill set that you're going to see an example of right now. There's LaDainian Thompson, or Washington. Now watch this stutter step right here as he puts on his brakes a little bit and then accelerates through the coverage. Again, he's got Saskatchewan looking at the quarterback in Washington in the end zone.
Riders rush 3, drop 9, and he's still wide open. I'd encourage you to go to the Bombers website. There's an 8-minute feature.
Mizzou, baby, always, Louisiana.
On Ladinian, Washington. And if it doesn't inspire you, nothing will.
Yeah, just
road to Canada, baby.
Terribly sad story in the beginning and how he and his brothers persevered.
Back on to my brothers, the Washington brothers. Love y'all.
And a shout out to the brothers.
Yeah.
Out of Missouri.
Feels good. Feels good. It's been a sweet.
Teammate of James Franklin. Greg Morris with the return. Oh, he gets popped. Boy, Kyle Knox has been a factor on the teams for the Bombers here tonight. So it's a 14-point lead. 31 points in 11-16 for the Bombers, and they're making plays on the teams too.
Yeah, you mentioned Kyle Knox. He's one of the big returns by Greg Morris. He was the guy who caught him about midfield and just exploded onto him. Love to have those linebackers on the cover teams.
Pitch into the hands of Roosevelt, who's had a relatively quiet evening, and Chris Randall, another tackle on the corner.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, there's a 76 catch, 1,000-yard receiver from last year and did it in just 11 starts due to injury. Now, it often takes a couple of games when you're coming off a bad injury to get back and get your speed and feel confident under your brakes and all of those things for receivers. Kevin Glenn just hasn't found Roosevelt all that often yet.
Second and long. Glenn on a roll. Got an open man, and the catch is made. Caleb Hawley steps up for the first down at the Winnipeg 54.
Scramble rules, and Caleb Hawley on the scramble rule is the short route, so he turns up. And when he turns up, Rock Carmichael is just a few steps behind him. Ball thrown right out in front of him nicely. 31-yard gain for Kevin Glenn.
So Kevin Glenn up to 222 yards passing here in the late stages of the third quarter. First down, a little shovel inside. That's an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
Intended for Spencer Moore.
Even if it's underhand, it's incomplete if it's a forward pass.
Second down coming up. At right guard is Peter Diakowski, playing in game number 150. No wonder he's the smartest guy. I mean, he can even plan that his 150th game is on the 150th birthday of Canada. 2nd and 10. 4 receivers wide side. Went over the middle. He's got the receiver. Got a first down. And Bakari Grant makes those tough catches. We do have a flag on the play in the Winnipeg secondary.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg number 38, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Call against Ian Wild.
Remember when Kevin Glenn threw the pick to Sam Hurl, he didn't look off his receiver. Watch him now. He's going to look off the coverage and stop it right just before. Right here now, he's looking in this direction. He's going to throw the ball in this direction. That holds the coverage just for a second. And allows Bakari Grant to get open.
Well, Ian Wild's number, not sure it wasn't bow-legged. And there's a defensive play made by Opala Ugo. 22 sacks in a couple of years in Toronto, back in the CFL, and a big addition to this defensive line.
Yeah, no question. I talked to Michael O'Shea before the game about him, and he said, you know, what people don't talk enough about him is his work ethic. I mean, the guy just does not take a play off, whether it's practice, preseason, game time, whatever. He's going full speed every down.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. 4 receivers to this side of the field. They'll screen it to Marshall, and he can't beat Sam Hurl, and the rest of the Bombers defense rallies to the football. Brandon Alexander in support.
Nice scrape there by Sam Hurl, because he looked like Dan Clark got out on him. And if you can get an offensive lineman on the second level and get them to your linebackers, that puts you in trouble defensively. But Clark got out there. Sam Hurl just worked around that. The former Rider got there and made the play.
So Carpinia out of the hold of Josh Bartell to attempt a 36-yarder. And has another one. So it's an 11-point Bomber lead here. Let's check back in with Lee Jones.
Guys, of course, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers had a bye week in week 1, and one of the team bonding events they did was a game of paintball. And asking Matt Nichols about it, he says it's pretty much what you'd think it would be. Basically 50 Rambos running all around there. In fact, the last game they played was something called Last Man Standing, where essentially if you get hit, you join the other team until there's only a few guys left. There were 3 players left in a bus, essentially, with 47 guys firing at them. Thomas Miles and Loeffler came out of the bus with their hands up, and yeah, they got painted all right with plenty of paintballs. Weston Dressler, by the way, said he'd rather get hit on a football field than get one of those paintballs hitting him.
Yeah, they were ready to play.
Great idea by the head coach and Michael O'Shea to create an activity when you got the bye week. Guys are going to watch football. They're anxious to get playing, but get them out there, get them together.
Congratulations, by the way, to the head coach. Well-deserved, headed to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. First incompletion of the half for Nichols. 2nd and 10, has time, has Darvin Adams, and he's back in Rider territory. And this Bomber offense now clicking on all cylinders.
Well, especially up front. And Matt Dunnigan talked about it before the game in the pregame show, how important the offensive line. Look at Matt Nichols sitting in his pocket. He gets a throwing lane. Go ahead and run it, guys. He gets a throwing lane because he's got the protection, and he can wait for Darvin Adams to open up in that hole. 25-yard gain. Great protection and throwing lane for Matt Nichols.
25-yard catch and run for Adams. An injured Bomber offensive lineman, the right tackle, Jamarcus Hardrick, is getting attention. That's going to bring Pat Neufeld into the game. local product out of the University of Saskatchewan and a high school champion at Old Mosaic with the Luther High School Lions. So, you know, he is pumped for the opportunity, even though it comes because of an injury. Monday on CTV, see why everybody loves this tension-filled, adrenaline-pumping race against the clock. Watch American Ninja Warrior City Qualifiers Monday at 8, 7 Central on CTV. Just a few blocks away. Old Mosaic. Tell you what, we're getting a glimpse of the football part of this stadium. You've talked about the dressing room. The lounges underneath are something else. Cameron Judge has checked in defensively for Saskatchewan. Neufeld at right tackle. First and 10 Bombers. Stepping up underneath is Harris. He made Judge miss. It has a first down at the 39. First down Bombers. And that is the end of the third quarter. The last 5 possessions for Winnipeg. 4 touchdowns and a field goal. We're through 3 quarters. And the Bombers lead the Roughriders 34-23. Bombers once trailed by 14, now lead by 11 through 3 quarters of play after an explosive third quarter.
Big quarter for the Bombers, and Matt Nichols, he went 7 of 8, 175 yards and 3 touchdowns in that quarter alone. Weston Dressler now over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. They've taken advantage of the Saskatchewan busts in the coverage. They look like Saskatchewan has got that straightened out now, but is it too late?
I know you told me before the game you liked what you saw from Winnipeg. There are a lot of people across the country saying, yeah, they were good last year. Let's see them do it again. And
yeah,
looks like they're doing it again.
I took a look at that roster and I thought, hey, this is a good team. I mean, they have built this roster nicely. Their O-line may become one of the best, if not the best in the league.
This play doesn't get off.
Got an all-star tailback in Andrew Harris and some weapons around him from Dressler, Adams, and Denmark to get started, and now they've added LaDamian Washington.
Saskatchewan number 7. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Willie Jefferson offside. It'll be 1st and 5. And now down around the 34-yard line. Riders looking for answers here in the second half on defense. Harris crashing down around the 30-yard line. Eddie Steele with another tackle. Winnipegger against Winnipegger.
Nice balance, though, when you get a 1st and 5 to go with the run game, get you in 2nd and short, and that opens the playbook completely. Nichols can run the ball here for a first down and can swing it out, take a play action shot.
Harris, right side, and that should be enough for the first down.
Not a bad idea for Paul LaPolice to run the ball in this case and work that clock, as well as moving back and moving the chains, moving right into scoring range again.
A lot of talk about the advantages of continuity, not just in personnel, but the fact that everybody familiar with the LaPolice playbook, and it gets to expand a little bit because of that. First down looks one way, and Adams was tripped up. They're saying incomplete as he tried to make the catch from his knees, working against Casey Rogers.
Yeah, well read by Casey Rogers. He tried to do that hitch screen off the fake fly sweep to Weston Dressler. That fly sweep worked in the third quarter. This time they fake it, And you can see Darvin Adams just coast down as he tries to get some separation.
Fans want to stop. Three-man rush. Nichols screens to Harris. And Andrew Harris to the 20 will come up short.
The screen pass is complete to Andrew Harris.
Tried to crawl the extra couple of yards, but they're going to mark him at the 20, and the field goal unit comes on.
Big down for Saskatchewan there to keep Matt Nichols out of the end zone. Want to climb back into this one, get these fans back behind them. They needed that stop.
Third field goal of the game for Medlock. And it's a 2-touchdown Bomber lead once again. Just short of the 3-minute mark. Fourth quarter. Well, we took a poll, and this edged the 89 Grey Cup. But on any short list of greatest Canadian sports moments, 1972, Henderson scores for Canada. And if you're of a certain age, you know exactly where you were when he scored to cap that brilliant comeback against the Soviets to prevail in the greatest hockey series of them all.
Yeah, the defining moment for our generation, and there was another one for the younger generation as well. Comes to hockey.
2010. Here's Glenn. Drops it off. Did a good job of getting it in the hands of Cam Marshall to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, another defining moment the younger generation will relate to is, of course, the 2010 Winter Olympics and the golden goal called brilliantly by my partner, Chris Cuthbert.
If I get another moment like that, I'm ready to sign up for it. Great memories, but for us old guys, 72 was pretty special.
On record, 14 gold medals for the Canadians in the Winter Olympics.
Here's Glenn, a slant pattern, caught, then dropped, but maintaining possession there is Hawley, and is he hurt? Left collarbone looks like it might be the issue.
First down for the Riders.
Made the catch, lost the handle, but instinctively was able to bring it back in despite the fact that he was hurt.
I'm not sure if that happened until after this turn, and then Carmichael pulls it out. He's reaching for it, and then
that would have been a fumble, but Ollie did get it back.
Opla-Ugo comes in and makes the hit with him on the ground. I think that drove the shoulder right into the turf.
So while Caleb Hawley gets attention, we'll step out.
The Roughriders.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the 2017 GMC Sierra Elevation Edition. Get noticed like a pro. Caleb Hawley to the sidelines. Rob Bagg has checked back into the Rough Rider offense. Hawley, the first regular season touchdown here at Mosaic. There's a completion to Duron Carter into Bomber territory at the Winnipeg 54.
Works that single side. They'll just put Duron Carter all by himself. Gets a one-on-one with Chris Randall. Very tough to defend this if the ball's thrown on time, and it was from Kevin Glenn.
Second and 3.
Go, go, go.
And the pass caught by Roosevelt. Clutch catch. Taken down by Wild, but it's a first down. Rough Riders.
Sat in the hole in the zone. Winnipeg decided to just drop off. Try and get pressure with 4, and Roosevelt reads it, sees looking at coverage, and then just cuts off his route there and present a target.
Had a 121-yard receiving game last year in Winnipeg. Evan Glenn into the hands of Carter. And he reaches to the 40, close to another Rough Rider first down. Rock Carmichael holding on.
Good to see Rob Bagg back in the lineup and coming off that foot injury. I talked to Nick Dembski about his first week in his first game. First guy he mentioned, and the mentor to him has been Rob Bagg.
Oh, with 2nd and inches, they'll plunge ahead.
And, you know, he said, Rob has taught me how to study and how to not only, you know, take care of myself physically. Dembski said to me when he came into the league at the beginning as a college player, you know, he would eat the junk food and all that stuff and just didn't break those habits. Well, Rob Bagg got a hold of him and said,
Winnipeg number 95, 5-yard penalty, first down.
You got to take care of yourself physically and mentally. And he actually brought Dembski into the film room and said, you don't have to just know your job. You have to know every single player's job on the field offensively. As soon as Dembski figured that out, he started to earn the trust of his coaching staff.
Rob Bagg, a 10-year pro who was never drafted. Kevin Glenn taking a shot. Dembski, touchdown! Just like Rob Bagg drew it up.
Well, the Riders needed that. They got the fans back in it now. He became a student of the game. He learned from his mentor, the guy playing right beside him in the formation on this play, and he gets in behind Rock Carmichael.
Rob Bagg's far from done, but it feels like there's a bit of the passing of the torch here in Saskatchewan with the start that Dembski's had to the year. Rapinia, the extra point, 7-point game. Well, the weekend started with a wild one in Calgary, and we are in for a finish here. Still lots of time, over 9 minutes left, fourth quarter.
There's Nick Dembski, and to his right, his mentor working in tandem to the wide side of the field. And Dembski's just going to flat out run that, go down the hash mark. He gets Rock Carmichael staring at Kevin Glenn. And Carmichael's got a best ticket in the house for a touchdown celebration from number 9.
University of Manitoba product.
It's Rider Day today.
8 plays, 75 yards to get the Rough Riders back within a touchdown. Ryan Langford up over the 35-yard line and taken down there.
Kevin Glenn throws a strike there, and he gets some help. The assist on this touchdown goes to tailback Cameron Marshall right here. He's going to notice the blitz from Ian Wild. He's coming through the A-gap. Marshall steps up, picks up that blitz nicely right there on Wild. That gives Kevin Glenn one more steamboat down the seam. Touchdown, Nick Dembski.
Third touchdown pass of the game for Glenn. Jonathan Newsom shaking up on that kick cover as Jarius Jackson and Kevin Glenn go back to the tablet. .158th Queens Plate gets underway tomorrow. Coverage begins at 4:30 Eastern with Brian Williams, 1:30 Pacific on TSN 1, 3, and 4 on CTV and in 4K. Broadcast brought to you by Ontario Racing and OLG. So Newsom makes his way off, and the Rough Riders now have to find a way to stop Winnipeg because the Bombers have points on their last 6 possessions, 4 touchdowns, and 2 field goals. Bombers 8-1 last year when scoring at least 30. Handing it off to Harris, and Harris breaks through. up to the 46-yard line, and he has 8.
Well, you're right, Chris. Somehow Saskatchewan defensively have to slow down the momentum of Matt Nichols. He has got 19 of 30, 299 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Career high for him. Got the run game going as well with Andrew Harris.
Give Harris 9, second and 1. Harris was 78 yards from scrimmage. And Jamarcus Hardrick back at right tackle as Harris straight ahead for the first down.
See how Matt Nichols there, he was trying to call an audible, maybe just call the running play to the opposite side, but the crowd's so loud here at the new Mosaic Stadium. Watch how he's trying to audible and call. Now he's trying to get their attention. Look at trying to shout through this crowd noise. And they're trying to communicate down that line of scrimmage. Make note of that as this game approaches the end.
First down, a play-action fake as incomplete. Javon Johnson there defensively.
When they established that run game to Andrew Harris, that opens up play action, and Matt Nichols there pointing to himself, saying that he didn't like the accuracy on the throw. But I thought the coverage bang on, and that's why Javon Johnson timed that up perfectly.
Top defensive player in the Canadian Football League back in 2011. Here comes pressure. They get home. And down goes Matt Nichols. Willie Jefferson with the sack. And he has 2 on the game.
Well, watch how the Riders defensively don't really even line up. It's going to be Willie Jefferson that gets the sack eventually, but how do you count who you're supposed to block as a Bomber offensive lineman here, or Andrew Harris? They can't pick him up, and Willie Jefferson gets home.
So that ends 6 straight possessions with points for Winnipeg. Dembski back at his 20. Had a punt return touchdown on Labor Day a couple of years ago. And now with 6:33 to go, fourth quarter, Riders with the football, down by a converted touchdown. Starting at the 37, wide side of the field. Catch made by Spencer Moore. Let's go down to the sidelines. Here's Lee.
Guys, Caleb Hawley currently on the trainer's table, has an ice pack on his left shoulder as well as left arm is in a sling. It was quite an adventure even to get his shoulder pads off. He was in so much pain that they actually had to slice parts of his jersey so they didn't have to move his shoulder and arm much, but clearly he is out for the rest of the game.
So Hawley this week. Ricky Collins lost to Chris Jones's offense last week with a shoulder injury. 2nd and 4. Glenn, couple of pumps. Incomplete, almost picked off. Mo Leggett was on the prowl.
He was. 7 interceptions last year. Took 3 back for touchdowns. Mo Leggett was one of the best offensive weapons for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers last year. They scored 5 from their defensive side of the ball, and Kevin Glenn timing all off. He got caught in the mix and in the pocket as it was collapsing, so he was real late on that throw, and I thought Mo Leggett was going to take that to the house.
Kevin Glenn now over 300 in the game, 47th time in his career he has done that. Bartell sails it. Langford on the return, trying to get outside Kevin Francis. And a jersey tackle by Francis to prevent Langford from turning the corner. Well, from mic'd up players to behind the scenes action, it's CFL Wired.
Run! Oh, there you go, baby. I told you, we're never out of it. Never. That boy good. That boy great.
Catch it Tuesday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, across the TSN network. Bombers looking to increase the margin of the lead here, but down goes Nichols as he's pulled down by Issa Marabare.
Matt Nichols had Clarence Denmark for a short gain if he gets rid of it on time. I think Matt Nichols wanted something deeper. He was looking on this roll for something down the field, and he looked past Clarence Denmark and then got in trouble, and Roughriders got there.
Second and 19. Nichols wants to load it up. Jump ball. Darvin Adams got it, but he's out of bounds at the Rough Rider bench. And it is a 2-and-out.
Ed Gainey timed his jump. I'm shocked that he even caught that double coverage right there. Gainey goes up to try to high point it and misses it. And that left foot just on the white stripe right there. What a catch by Darvin Adams, even though he was out of bounds.
Dembski back awaiting around the Saskatchewan 45. Medlock sails it to the 43. 46-yard punt. Dembski, can he turn the corner? Runs out of real estate, angled out around the 52.
The 2017 GMC Sierra Elevation Edition. Get noticed like a pro.
4:04 on the clock, 7-point game. Both teams looking for their first win of 2017. Well, they've led by 14 and trailed by 14 and still in it. Then going through the reads, sidearms at Bakari Grant. Is that a fumble? It is. Mo Ligon's got it. And it's the 4th takeaway of the night. Let's go. For the Blue Bombers. Plus 29 last year, plus 3 on the night. It will have to withstand confirmation of a review.
Now let's take a look. Low throw, first of all, from Kevin Glenn. Bakari Grant scoops it up. He's got his knee down there, but he's not down by contact till he's contacted. He has to be touched to be down. You can get up if no one touches you, and he was doing that when the ball came out. But as you mentioned, all turnovers are reviewed. So not touched.
Not sure he
previous play is under review by the command center.
And again, all turnovers under review. Is that first step ruled to be progress with control of the football?
That's a tough call because it really doesn't look like he's secured it, although when he's getting up, he's clearly making a football move. Now, that's not part of their thinking, but he's getting up, and then it pops out, slips out the side of his hand. So, you know, the fact that he's getting up to go and run would tell me that that constitutes control.
Thinking back to Thursday, a similar pass to Patrick Lavoie, who was hit shortly after securing it. It was ruled a fumble,
but it was kind of loose in there too. So this is an interesting one. Right now, Bakari Grant's trying to cross his fingers and hope that he didn't secure it. It was moving.
After review, we have an incomplete pass. He's 2nd down and 10.
And he got away with one because it was moving, and it didn't look like he completely secured it. However, you're getting up to make a move to run. That's a close one.
They'll reprieve for Grant and the Roughriders.
Maurice Leggett was sitting on the bench with his helmet off. He had to hustle back on, and now he's going to play safety.
2nd and 10. Glenn steps up, got an open man. Dembski sidestepped and had to regroup to get the first down. There is a flag in the Rough Rider backfield.
Kevin Glenn went down, looked like he was in a little bit of pain, and it looked like it was after the throw. I'm wondering if there was a roughing the passer call here.
Passer. Winnipeg number 55. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Jamal Westerman. They announced 55. Let's take another look. It might be Opala Ugo.
Well, there's Opala Ugo there, and Westerman's down on the opposite side. Let's see who gets the late hit. Push by Opala Ugo, spins inside. It is Tristan Opala Ugo.
Well, that gives the Rough Riders a first down. Bomber 32. 4 receivers wide side. Underneath with a flag, Dakota Grant is hauled down by Sam Hurl. Focus on Hurl with the departure of Khalil Bass, but he's had a good night. Another flag.
Holding. Saskatchewan number 68. 10-yard penalty.
That's the right tackle, Thaddeus Coleman. They march it back 10, and they give the 3-minute warning. We're going down to the wire at Mosaic. Well, they're going to remember this opening game at Mosaic, and the Rough Riders have 3 minutes to come back and make sure it's a celebration. Right now, the Bombers spoiling the party, leading by 7. Kevin Glenn, 1st and 20 after the holding penalty. Stands in the pocket, dances out of it, throws across the middle. Naaman Roosevelt's got it. Upended around the 19-yard line. And he'll be a couple of yards short of a first down.
Well, Glenn gets the protection, but it's when he negotiates the pocket and then bounces out of there that he's going to find Naaman Roosevelt. He's got a nice throwing lane, but no target down the middle, so then he has to bounce to his left and throws against the grain to get it to Roosevelt.
So 18 on the completion for Glenn, and 2nd and 2. Quick hitter. And caught for a first down. Deron Carter secures the football as he continues his one-on-one battle against Chris Randall and makes his 5th catch.
All by himself into the boundary. Chris Randall playing off in a cushion technique, and that's why he just sits down like that. Deron Carter, when he's on a one-on-one, will have option routes on that side. The DB plays press, he goes deep. He plays off, he breaks it up.
Riders 2 for 2 in the red zone. Kevin Glenn. And that pass out of the reach of Marshall. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Gonna say no pressure on Kevin Glenn there to force that high throw.
Likely in 3-down territory.
Yeah, Cameron Marshall had some room to turn and run there too for at least 5 to 10 yards.
2nd and 10. Pressure on over the middle. Complete. Touchdown. Naaman Roosevelt. And they're a convert away from a tie.
Can't think of a better way to celebrate Canada's birthday, a 150, than a little Canadian football in the new stadium. And with this kick,
to tie it. Kerpinia does not make a mistake. The game is locked at 37. Kevin Glenn with 4 touchdown passes to 4 different receivers.
Naaman Roosevelt. Sits right in that slot, the short side of the field. Kevin Glenn's going to take a hit, but watch how he gets TJ Heath to turn. On a blind turn, cuts back into the middle. Glenn pays the price, delivers a strike, and we're all tied up at 37. But Matt Nichols has time.
Bombers with the hammer. 7 plays, 58 yards. Game tied, and maybe enough time for both teams to have one more possession. Minute 51 to go. But it'll be in the hands of Matt Nichols first. We've seen some resolve from both teams here tonight. Ryan Langford, former Rider, another good return. Dashing out beyond the 45-yard line, and that'll set things up nicely.
Well, Kevin Glenn, I mentioned, had to pay the price on the throw to Naaman Roosevelt for the touchdown. He's going to get hit by Kyle Knox, who's had a great game on the teams for the Bombers, but Glenn gets it out of there. Now, can the defense get a stop for Saskatchewan? Matt Nichols has plenty of time here, plenty of time.
Deafening here at Mosaic, and a huge sack. Second of the game for Zach Minder.
Zach Minder, interior to the defensive line on a little twist with Eddie Steele. Doesn't get picked up.
I think this is louder than the old barn. Reset. 2nd and 19. More pressure. Screen, Fiona Gadino. And he'll be stopped around the 48. And for the 3rd straight Winnipeg possession, they're going to have to kick. But wait a minute, because there is a flag. So what's this all about?
And it was real late in the process. Almost looked like after the play had been blown dead, the flag came out.
Now for field position, if it's against Winnipeg, do you take it? Or do you just get the ball back when as quickly as possible?
We have unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg number 61. 15-yard penalty. It'll be 3rd down.
Matthias Gosen.
Dead ball, he was cruising, dead ball foul, so they're going to get the yardage and the ball back. Borderline call at this point in the game.
Headlock, Dembski on the run. surrounded. Good cover by the Bombers. And again, Mike Miller leading the charge downfield. So, 59 seconds to go. Kevin Glenn with 4 touchdown passes in the game. How many yards do you figure to get it into Grapinia range? He missed from 45 to win last week.
About 25 yards. Chris Jones was asked yesterday how the crowd in this new stadium and that intensity would help. He said this is an educated crowd. They know when to cheer and when not to. They're going to be real quiet here for Kevin Glenn. Our crack statistician Dave Moyer reminding me 27 comeback wins generated by Kevin Glenn in his career. On a roll. Incomplete intended for Roosevelt, and Leggett got a hand on it too.
Roosevelt is incomplete. Second down.
Overtime's been a theme already this year, and Winnipeg played 2 preseason overtime games, including the first preseason game here.
2 ties for the Bombers in the preseason, and unless Glenn can convert on second down here, we're headed to overtime here, it looks like.
Bomber pressure. Wide side throw and incomplete. Carter can't make the tough catch. Would have been short of the first down. And now Matt Nichols is going to get a chance to break the tie before an extra session.
And may have enough time for, 3 plays, 4, depending on when they take possession here.
Mike O'Shea was spying the clock and, reading his lips, seemed to be indicating that maybe there should be another second or 2 up there. And Mo Leggett shaken up. General Manager Kyle Walters alongside. Been quite a night.
And it's not over yet. Like that may be a cramp for Maurice Leggett.
Who's gonna be? Let's go. Put the fucking team on your back.
Back to that game in week 1, BC and Edmonton, and Mike Riley in a similar situation that Matt Nichols will be in, stepped on the field and it was bombs away.
Okay.
Last year, the longest field goal for Medlock was 58. Of course, he tried one from 61 in the Western semifinal that was much talked about. Bartel, Langford, and he is driven to the turf. Great cover downfield by the safety Jeff Heck. 42-yard punt, and so about 40 yards from where they need to be.
Now if they're efficient, get 3-4 plays in here, you got to believe the Bombers or the Riders secondary will drop off. Make sure that Matt Nichols throws it underneath them.
Harris to start it on the ground up to the 30. Not what you might have expected there.
I expected that kind of play call in the last series with just under 2 minutes to go. Be aggressive on first down with a run to Andrew Harris. But now you got to get a big chunk of yardage if you want to win in regulation. Or are they playing to get to overtime on the road? It looks like it.
Whoops. Harder out of his stance.
That's crowd noise. Bombers been pretty disciplined handling this crowd noise. Wondered. Matt Nichols has been patient and letting some time run off the clock.
Practiced varying degrees of crowd noise all last week.
The Bombers want to get this to overtime.
Procedure. 51, that penalty be declined. I'll start the clock on my whistle.
And you can see Nichols even straining to get the calls in the helmet now. They don't take the penalty, they allow the clock to run. Dressler, and Dressler just ducks under a heavy hit that was coming from Casey Rogers. 1 second remaining, and it does look like game one at New Mosaic. He is going to extra time.
Now with 1 second and one play, you could load up one side and throw it deep, see if you get a tip. They're going to just go into victory formation here on the tie, get to overtime, and let's settle it there.
That's what it's going to be. 60 minutes, nothing solved, 37 apiece. So the home team roars back late, and the home crowd has an impact too.
It's a tail. You want offense, defense, or which end you want to play? You want to be on defense, which end you want to play? This end looks fun. So play on this side. Play on this end. Want to pressure not on this end. Play on that. Come on, huh?
Sam Hurl and Kevin Glenn having a
little bit of an argument there as to where Sam Hurl was pointing. He said, "We're pointing down to this end." He said, "No, you were pointing on the ground." There's the rules in overtime. We know them pretty well now.
Yep. The Riders win the toss, so they get to go second and know what they'll need. Matt Nichols to work first. There's Dressler with a pair of touchdowns on the night, but tossed down there by Sam Williams.
Dressler was saying he wasn't down. Kind of spun on the back of Williams and then got up and kept running. But I think his shoulder and head touched. Take a look at Dressler here. Yeah, his shoulder's definitely touched the ground. He was down by contact.
So just 2 for Dressler, 2nd and 8. Here comes pressure. Would have been offside. Pass is caught. Billy Gadino will be short, and there is no flag.
I hear you. I agree with you. Jonathan Newsom off the edge for Saskatchewan. Boy, did he anticipate the snap count there, because it did look like he jumped. He was up at the top here. And Matt Nichols, the hand movement.
Maybe the timing was
just right.
Just at the snap. Mark O'Shea wants to think about challenging, but puts it back in his pocket. Then, or did he? Challenge flags out.
Winnipeg is challenging that there was illegal contact on their receiver number 7. We'll review the play.
We can't challenge the offside, so maybe this is his way to have another look at it.
Can't challenge offside, but this is the issue with this particular call, is that coaches can now search in desperate situations for an illegal contact penalty somewhere on the field. And keep in mind, this is not where Matt Nichols threw the football. See Weston Dressler right down here. They're saying it was illegal contact on Dressler's. Let's take a look. You're allowed to jam inside of 5 yards. There's the jam there. Gainey, like he was running with his hands up, trying not to contact Dressler. The question is, was he trying to run him out of his route, even though he wasn't using his hands to do it? My issue with this, Chris, is that coaches should do this because the rule's in place, but it allows a coach to search for something away from the ball when they're desperate, and Bombers want to keep this drive alive in overtime. Here's Dressler again, different angle. The eye in the sky
Can't be
this
touched
time.
beyond the 28.
Looked like it was a little bit down the field.
they said they'd try and cap this at 90 seconds. If it was that hard to determine, they'd stick with the call on the field.
And there was no penalty flag on the field. This is O'Shea looking to try and get it.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Third down.
Ed Gainey had his hands up, maintaining his position.
Field goal unit on. Dressler will hold for Medlock. Perfect under 40 last year and perfect here in the opening game to give Winnipeg the lead. Is 3 going to be enough?
Well, the 2 hot receivers tonight, and Kevin Glenn has spread the ball around, but the latest has been Naaman Roosevelt. Deep into that 4th quarter, Roosevelt emerged, and early on in the game, it was Nick Dembski. Dembski also with a second half touchdown.
Caleb Hawley caught the first touchdown pass. If the Roughrider catches one here, it will be even bigger than that. There's a catch. Roosevelt. Moe-Leggett takes him down. A first down for Saskatchewan. Remember, a Bomber takeaway, though, and this is over.
Yeah, game over.
The visitors steal it. Both Bagg and Dembski in the game since the injury to Caleb Hawley. 24 yards away from a win. Looking for Rob Bagg, and it's a Strider too long as they work against the rookie corner, Brandon Alexander.
Well, that first throw to Roosevelt gets Saskatchewan into chip shot field goal range to extend the game. Worst case scenario for them, unless there's a turnover and the Bombers steal it on defense. My point being that Kevin Glenn wants to be careful with his throw, not force it into coverage, because they are in chip shot range to extend it.
2nd and 10. Pressure on. Glenn steps up, and he'll get wrapped by Opala-Ugo, and both defenses stand here.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way Kevin Glenn played that down. I mean, if he's open, if his receiver's there immediately, he wants to take it. Opala-Ugo's looking like he's in some discomfort there after that tackle, but if he doesn't see what he likes immediately for Kevin Glenn, he pulls it down just to get a little bit closer for Capinia.
Take another look at what happened to the new member of that Bomber front four.
Tremendous redirect to get back there, and it looks like his shoulder drove into the ground too. Yeah,
jam the right shoulder into the turf on the tackle.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like there, Chris. That doesn't look good.
Now it's all on Tyler Crapinia's foot. Has to hit from 30 to extend it to a second mini game. Steve Daniels, the chief statistician, mentioning that to us the last 29 overtime games, 17 wins by the team going first. And now Chris Jones is
he didn't slide feet first.
going to do what Mike O'Shea did.
He dove
right, but he's trying to get on the ground. You can't hit nobody in the head, though.
Okay, but it's not roughing, but that's not roughing the quarterback when he dies for it. It's got to be sliding feet first. But we can review it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he can't hit anybody in the face mask.
Saskatchewan is challenging that there was roughing the quarterback on the play. We'll review the play.
Tom Valesi mentioning to Chris Jones that as he's running, he's no longer considered a quarterback, but Chris Jones's response was still can't take helmet-to-helmet hit. We'll see if...
But the rules committee this year changed the interpretation a little bit, that the quarterback has that protection as he's in the passing position, whether he's in the pocket or rolls out then sets up again. In other words, creating a new pocket.
After review, there was no roughing the passer on the play.
That didn't take long, did it?
Third down.
No, but he is basically just a runner once he takes off like that.
Only issue here is he's just made his kicker take longer to think about it.
Well, and that, you know, there's some pressure on him after what happened last week.
Now that was from 45. This is from 30, and he has been on target so far tonight. And he is again. So we've got a second mini game.
There's a weight off that man's shoulders in a big, big way. He needed that one. Not just for this game.
Now the Roughriders go first.
And it's not really an advantage to go second in the first overtime match, because you're not going on third down going second in the first one.
So you wait, you're thinking about waiting, anticipating round two.
Yeah, because you're going to kick the field goal to match. You're not going to go for the touchdown if the first team gets the field goal. So now it's advantage Bombers, because if Glenn scores, they know what they need at the field goal. They can.
Let's just hope it doesn't end up in a tie, and let's be the latest to advocate that they should keep going until we get a winner. Glenn to the wide side, and Dembski's loose.
You know, and the other thing is, the Bombers tied 2 preseason games, and there's no overtime in the preseason. And there's been that debate as to whether or not they should keep playing. Now, it's a player safety issue as well, because you get into too many.
Hurt.
Yeah, you get into too many reps.
Second and 5.
So that's a second starting receiver who's had to come out of the game for Saskatchewan tonight. And 3 in the first 2 games.
Remember, you have to go for 2 if you score a major.
But there was a lot of reaction when Calgary and Ottawa finished tied in the opening week. Let's check what happened to Dembski here. Yeah. Looked like Rock Carmichael kind of stretched him out by getting an arm on that right ankle.
It's kicking off at 11 o'clock. The 20-minute fireworks show is a spectacular way to cap off your Canada 150 celebration. Roughriders and Canadian Pacific remind fans to be safe.
It does look like that ankle may have twisted inside.
Dembski a career best last week, 7 for 87. He's been almost as impressive tonight. 7th catch of the game. Touchdown catch that helped spark the comeback, and the former Manitoba Bison is up and on his way off. That's a good sign.
Before you head home for today's game, wait for the traffic to thin out and stay low.
So brought in Spencer Moore, tight end. Replaced Nick Dembski with the Canadian.
2 quarterbacks now over 700 passing yards on the night, both with 4 touchdown passes. Second down. Glenn out of the pocket. He's got pay, and they've got a first Carmichael holding on, but Bagg down at the 24-yard line moves the chains.
That's a big one. Kevin Glenn buying himself some more time, gets outside of that pocket.
That the 8th different receiver deployed by Glenn tonight. Drop play, Marshall got a hole. Oh, that was a huge shoestring tackle by Jamal Westerman.
Wow.
What it looked like Marshall might be able to romp to the end zone.
Wow, the seas had parted, and if Jamal Westerman does not make this shoe-top tackle, Cameron Marshall still running. He scores. It opened up big time. What an effort by Westerman.
Riders 3 for 3 in the red zone tonight. Looking to convert on second down. Glenn in trouble, and he has fumbled the football. And the Riders get it back. It will be third down, and they will get a chance to kick a field goal.
Did Glenn recover his own fumble? Because I saw that bounce out. It looked like there were a couple of Bombers right on the spot. Let's see, make sure it was a fumble, but oh yeah, that was out.
See Opolo-Ugo back in the game, and Riders fortunate to hang on. So now from 33 yards out to give Saskatchewan the lead. And Krapinja off the upright. It's a dead ball.
Oh no.
And now it's in the hands of Michael O'Shea and the Bombers.
And you start in field goal range in overtime. Wow. Hold was there in Montreal last week. He missed and pushed it wide right.
2 weeks in a row. And now you could almost send Medlock out. Well, 42, they're not going to do that, I wouldn't think. But
no, I think they'll chip away a little bit, but on the ground with Andrew Harris. At least get it into the middle, but they're in field goal range to start the drive.
And off Harris, right side. That gets him 4 yards closer. You know, the Riders are going to try and
rip the ball out.
Rip and strip now.
With the best kicker in the league last year on the Bomber sideline. This one, I think even Matt Nichols could just try and get it in the middle for Justin Medlock.
We've seen in the past, sometimes you'll even go out there now just in case there's an issue.
Yeah, because if you fumble it and recover it on the hold, get another shot on third down.
We've got another. We have another injury.
This is exactly the reason that we can't go past 2 games. Yeah.
Casey Rogers cramping up. And the Bombers huddling up at the moment.
I know a lot of people try and make a comparison with hockey, but it's different. You can't play a football game the next day or a day after. It's just a collision sport that is just too hard on the body to play, you know, the next day or a day after. And that's why if you go too far into overtime, the body starts to break down and the player safety issue comes in. But it's been quite a game.
It has been. Looked like the Riders were going to run away early. Then it was all Bombers. Saskatchewan fights back. And all we know now is that the Blue Bombers are in Medlock range. I was going to say we know that Saskatchewan can't win, but a defensive play, an interception pick six could win for them.
Absolutely. fumble recovery, scoop and score, could win for him. And goes into the debate as to whether or not Michael O'Shea would put the field goal team out now and maybe avoid a strip. Matt Nichols not going to put the ball in the air, you know that, but
Medlock 4 for 4 tonight, while the first miss.
Oh boy.
And he'll be replaying that for quite some time. Boy, it's been a tough start for the kickers, hasn't it? A few of them. Here's Harris, bounces off first contact. And he'll run for a first down inside the 24. How many times do you want to keep running the football? I mean, you know you're in Medlock range.
Yeah, I think you're tempting fate here now. I mean, that's great confidence in your running back that he'll secure the football. But if I'm Michael O'Shea, I might put the field goal team on right now and just. Again, unless they want to get it to the middle on this chip shot.
Maybe one more.
Yeah, there we go.
Because Medlock doesn't miss from inside the 35. You wouldn't think. That was even daring by Nichols to bite off a little bit more and risk a fumble. But now Medlock's out. Everything 35 or under tonight. We mentioned 39 of 39 last year from under 40.
There have been a couple of kickers with good starts. Sean White's had a good start.
Yep.
We'll see if Justin Medlock ends this.
Chad Rempel, the long snapper. Weston Dressler, the holder. And Medlock for the win. And it is through. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have spoiled the party. Winnipeg wins its season opener and the first game ever at New Mosaic. Time now for the Nissan Titan Player of the Game. Brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
Well, when you have 83 points on the board, you know one thing, the quarterbacks have their moments. And for Matt Nichols, after a real slow start, 0 first downs in the first quarter, he found his groove, was on fire, touchdown throw after touchdown throw, coupled to Weston Dressler, one to the newcomer, LaDamian Washington. Matt Nichols is our player of the game.
Well, there was a time that the Bombers had lost 11 consecutive visits to Saskatchewan. They ended that last year on Labor Day, their last visit to Old Mosaic, and they win here in overtime in the first game at New Mosaic. 43-40. That score sounds familiar, doesn't it? Bombers 1-0. And now the Saskatchewan Roughriders fall to 0-2 in a couple of games where the kicking let them down. Hope you had a great Canada Day. So long from New Mosaic. SportsCenter is next.